Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Syria Mapped. Today we're going to look at the opposition forces, and what's important to look at is how fractured and dysfunctional they are. I hope you guys enjoy. Remember to like and subscribe, and we'll catch you next time. Peace. In order to understand the massive changes which have occurred in the Syrian opposition since the beginning of the civil war, it is important to understand that the roots of the opposition and the current form of the opposition are drastically different. Right off the bat, I want to make it clear that when I use the term opposition, it is used to describe a huge and diverse array of groups and militias, some of whom cooperate with jihadists and excludes the Kurdish YPG. The Kurds have either not taken part or been excluded from any such alliances. Historically, Assad's government has had opposition since it seized power in Syria in 1963 after a coup d'etat. The head of state since 1971 has been a member of the al-Assad family. As the revolutionary wave, commonly referred to as the Arab Spring, began to take shape in early 2011, Syrian protesters, many of whom were young, took to the streets demanding political and social change, with aspirations of transforming Syria into a more Western-style democracy and away from Assad family rule. Initially, these protests began peacefully and were strongly opposed and then repressed by the government. By the end of April, it became clear the situation was getting out of control, and the Syrian government deployed numerous troops on the ground. The civil uprising phase created the platform for the emergence of militant opposition movements, which began to receive funding from foreign players wanting to see Assad overthrown. These foreign interests wanted to get rid of Assad for a bunch of reasons, some of the most important being the placement of oil pipelines and the removal of Iranian influence in the region. But that's for a later report. The growth of the armed opposition in 2011 was accompanied by defections from the Syrian army, which gradually transformed the conflict from a civil uprising to an armed rebellion, and later a full-scale civil war. The rebel Free Syrian Army was created on July 29, 2011, marking the transition into an armed insurgency. By this time, the FSA was known to be receiving wide-ranging support from Turkey, the Gulf states, and Western allies. The Washington Post stated in 2014 that the US and European friends had in recent years given training, financial, and military support to Syrian rebel groups, more or less suggesting that the FSA was among them. The main foreign players actively supporting the opposition are Turkey, providing arms, military, and political support, Gulf Arab states providing money and weapons, the United States providing arms, training, and military assistance, and Jordan providing logistical support and training. However, this initial phase of the conflict didn't last long. The Syrian opposition and FSA soon fractured and began infighting, with new militia groups emerging dominant. Quickly, the FSA became a weakened faction among multiple growing militias, many with extremist affiliations. Reports suggest that by 2013, the al-Qaeda-affiliated al-Nusra group and others had become more effective in countering Assad, and many FSA fighters joined their ranks. An ISIS commander also stated that an FSA rebel who in 2014 ran over to ISIS had received training from the United States, Turkey, and Arab military officials at NATO bases in southern Turkey. By this time, it is safe to say that any aspirations that existed during the Arab Spring had faded, and the Syrian opposition was dominated by an array of groups, many extremists, and foreign-backed militias, including the FSA. It seems clear that the opposition in Syria is extremely fractured, and it's better to describe them as a myriad of Sunni militia groups with an array of different beliefs and goals, most of whom are backed by foreign states and interests, and some of whom cooperate with jihadists. It's worth remembering that this doesn't even include the parts of Syria currently governed by the Kurds in the northwest. It seems the deeper we look into this conflict in Syria, the more complex the situation gets. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. In the next episode, we're going to cover the Kurdish YPG and look a little more deeply at what's going on in Syria. Hope you'd enjoyed. Peace.